Commander Jay stared at the blue-green planet on the main screen. His four-fingered hand tapped nervously on the control panel. After 20 years of space exploration, he had never seen anything like it. "Scan it again," he ordered. Science Officer Hyun nodded and ran another scan. Her large eyes blinked twice as the data appeared. "The readings are the same, Commander. This planet has over 7 billion sentient life forms. They appear to be bipedal mammals." Jay shook his head in disbelief. The Galactic Exploration Fleet had found many planets with simple life, but intelligent life was rare. Finding a planet with billions of thinking beings was unheard of. "How did we miss this?" he asked. "The planet is in an outer arm of the galaxy," Hyun explained. "No exploration ships have come this way before." Ja leaned forward. "Show me these creatures." Hyun tapped her screen, and images appeared from the planet's surface. The creatures walked on 2 legs and had 2 arms. They wore coverings of different colors and lived in tall structures. "They call themselves humans," Hyun said. "And they call their planet Earth." "Can we understand their communication?" Jai asked. "Yes. Our systems have decoded several of their languages. They have many different ones." Jay watched the screens with growing concern. In one image, humans were jumping from high places with only thin cords to stop their fall. In another, they were hitting each other in a ring while others watched and cheered. "Are they fighting a war?" he asked. "No," Hyun said. "They call this entertainment. They do dangerous things for fun." Jay could not understand this. His people avoided danger and pain. Why would any species seek it out? "Look at this," Hyun said, showing another image. "They live in areas with extreme temperatures. Some places are freezing cold, others are burning hot, and they stay there by choice." The more Jay watched, the more confused he became. Humans drove vehicles at deadly speeds. They climbed tall mountains without safety equipment. They even jumped into deep water for no reason other than pleasure. "And this is the most strange thing," Hyun said. "They put poison in their food and drinks. This liquid they call alcohol damages their thinking, yet they consume it regularly." "Are they trying to die?" Jai asked. "No, they call it living life to the fullest." Jay sat back in his chair. In all his years of space travel, he had never encountered a species so different from his own. His people valued safety and caution. These humans seemed to seek out danger. "I must report this to the Galactic Council," he said. "They need to know about Earth." Hyun looked worried. What will the Council do? These humans could be dangerous. They seem to have no fear. Joe looked at the blue-green planet again. "I don't know, but a species that treats danger as normal is unlike anything we've seen before." He began to record his message to the Council. "We have discovered a planet with intelligent life. The beings call themselves humans. They are unlike any species we have encountered. They seem to think pain and danger are normal parts of life. They seek out risks that any sensible being would avoid. I believe they could be the most dangerous species in the galaxy, not because they wish harm, but because what they consider normal would terrify any rational being. I await your instructions on how to proceed with Earth." As Jay sent the message, he wondered what the Council would decide. One thing was certain: the discovery of humans would change everything. Senior researcher Sun looked out the window of the new observation post. From here on the gray, dusty moon, Earth looked peaceful, but Sun knew better. For 3 months, his team had been watching the humans, and each day brought new surprises. "Any new reports today?" Sun asked as he entered the main room. Researcher Mia nodded and handed him a tablet. "Yes, sir. You should see what the humans in the cold region called Finland do for fun." Sun looked at the screen. The video showed humans cutting holes in frozen water, then jumping into the icy water and coming out to sit in small hot rooms. They go from extreme cold to extreme heat by choice. Sun asked, "Wouldn't that hurt their bodies?" "They claim it feels good," Maya said. "They call it a sauna." Sun shook his head. The Galactic Council had ordered this observation post, built after Commander J's report. Their mission was to study humans without being seen. Every day, they collected information on human behavior. And every day, Sun wondered if he was watching a species of insane beings. "Look at this too," said researcher Kang, pointing to another screen. "These humans are watching a story where other humans are hunted and killed. They call it a horror movie. They watch stories about their own kind dying." "For entertainment?" Sun asked. "Yes, and they pay money to be scared." Sun walked around the room, looking at all the screens showing different parts of Earth. On one, humans were running through city streets while large animals with horns chased them. On another, humans were throwing themselves off tall platforms with elastic cords tied to their ankles. "Has the psychology team made any progress?" Sun asked. Dr. Jin, the head psychologist, looked up from her work. "We think humans use danger as a way to feel more alive. They seem to enjoy the feeling of fear when they know they are actually safe." "But they're not always safe," Sun said. "Our data shows many humans die doing these fun activities." "That's the strangest part," Dr. Jin said. "They know the risks and do it anyway." Sun sat down and rubbed his eyes. He had not slept well since this mission began. The more he learned about humans, the more they confused him. "What about their discussions of global threats?" he asked. Researcher Kang brought up more videos. "They talk openly about possible end-of-world events. Climate change, nuclear war, asteroid impacts. They make jokes about them." "Jokes? About their own extinction?" "Yes. They call it dark humor." Sun watched as humans on screen laughed about things that could kill them all. His people would never joke about such serious matters. "There's one more thing," Maya said. "We detected a strange conversation from a place called NASA. Some humans are talking about exploring deep space. They might discover our civilization soon." Sun felt a chill. The council had worried about this. Humans were advancing quickly. If they started exploring beyond their solar system, contact might become inevitable. "I must update the council," Sun said. "If humans are planning to explore space, we need to decide what to do before they find us." As Sun prepared his message, he watched a human family on one of the screens. They looked normal enough. The parents played with their child in a park. They seemed peaceful. But then the father threw the laughing child high into the air, catching her just before she hit the ground. Even their idea of playing with children involved danger, Sun thought. What would such a species do if they discovered alien life? Would they approach with the same casual attitude toward risk and danger? The future of galactic peace might depend on answering that question correctly. Ambassador Yun stood in front of the mirror, practicing her smile. It felt wrong on her face. Her people rarely showed their teeth, but humans did it all the time, even when discussing serious matters. "The smile needs to reach your eyes," said her assistant. "Humans can tell when a smile is fake." Yun tried again, pulling her lips back further. "Is this better?" "Still too scary. Try to look happy, not like you want to eat them." Yun sighed and dropped the smile. She had been the Galactic Council's top diplomat for 20 years. She had negotiated with the fierce warriors of 5 different star systems, but nothing had prepared her for humans. 3 days ago, everything had changed. A technical failure had caused the observation post's cloaking system to fail for just 6 minutes. It was enough. Earth's powerful telescopes had spotted them. Now, instead of watching humans, they were about to meet them. The door slid open, and Captain Witherell entered the room. "The human representatives have arrived at the meeting point," he said. "Their ship is approaching the station now." Yun nodded. The council had decided to meet the humans at a neutral location, a small station orbiting Earth's moon. They would try to establish friendly contact and set rules for future interactions. "Remember, Ambassador," Captain Witherell said, "these creatures smile while they talk about dangerous things. They might agree to peace while planning war." I know, Yun said. I've studied all of Sun's reports. When Yun entered the meeting room, 5 humans were already there. 4 wore dark suits, but 1 wore a bright blue outfit. This one stepped forward. I am Han, diplomat from South Korea, he said in perfect galactic standard. Their translation technology was impressive. We come in peace and friendship. Yun tried her practiced smile. I am Ambassador Yun of the Galactic Council. We also seek peaceful relations. The human called Han smiled back, showing all his teeth. Yun tried not to flinch. The meeting began well. The humans asked polite questions about galactic culture. They seemed genuinely interested. But then Han said something that made Yun freeze. We hope to learn from your advanced space travel technology, Han said. We want to explore the stars, just like you. Yun's assistants looked at her with alarm. This was exactly what the council feared. Humans wanting to spread across the galaxy, taking their dangerous ways with them. Space travel brings many risks, Yun said carefully. Han laughed. Of course, that's what makes it exciting. There it was, the strange human attitude toward danger. They didn't avoid it. They sought it out. Perhaps we should discuss trade first, Yun suggested. Space exploration agreements would come much later. The meeting continued for hours. The humans remained friendly, but they kept returning to topics that made Yun uncomfortable. They asked about weapons, about planets with extreme environments, about potential threats in the galaxy. When they took a break, Yun pulled Han aside. May I ask you something? She said. Of course. Why do humans smile when discussing things that could harm them? Han looked surprised. Do we? I never noticed. I suppose it helps us face our fears. If we can laugh at danger, it has less power over us. Yun tried to understand this concept. Her people avoided even thinking about dangers unless absolutely necessary. Is your species very different? Han asked. Yes, Yun said. We find humans quite unusual. Han smiled again. That's good. Life would be boring if we were all the same. As Han walked away, Yun realized the true challenge of her mission. It wasn't just establishing diplomatic relations. It was trying to build understanding between species with completely different views of what was normal. And the scary part was that humans like Han didn't even realize how strange they were. Scientist Jai-Ho took a deep breath as the transport ship landed. After 6 months of negotiations, the Galactic Council had finally approved a small exchange program. 3 humans would visit the central world of the galactic civilization. Ji-Ho, engineer Tai, and anthropologist Min had been chosen to represent Earth. Remember, said Ambassador Han before they left, try not to scare them. Jai-Ho had laughed at the time. How could humans scare a civilization that traveled between stars? Now, seeing the nervous faces of the aliens waiting for them, he wasn't so sure. Welcome to Centuria, said a tall, thin alien with blue-gray skin. I am Guide Bin. I will show you around our world. As they stepped off the ship, Ji-Ho noticed the aliens kept their distance. Some even stepped back when the humans came near. Is something wrong? Min asked. No, Guide Bin said quickly. We are just careful about personal space. The 3 humans followed Bin into a large building. Inside, more aliens watched them with large, worried eyes. This is our science center, Bin explained. Many of our researchers want to meet you. A group of alien scientists approached slowly. Their leader spoke in a soft voice. We have many questions about humans. May we ask them? Of course, Jai-Ho said with a smile. The alien seemed to flinch at his teeth. The questions started simple, but soon became strange. Is it true that humans continue walking after breaking a bone? One asked. Sometimes, if the break isn't too bad, Ta said. The aliens whispered among themselves, and humans exposed their skin to direct sunlight. On purpose. Another asked. Yes, we call it sunbathing, Min explained. Many humans enjoy it. More whispers, more concerned looks. "One last question," said the lead scientist. "Our records show humans argue with each other as a normal form of communication. Is this true?" Jaiho laughed. "Well, we call it debate or discussion. It helps us find the best ideas." The aliens seemed shocked. "But conflict causes stress. Stress is harmful." "A little stress can be good," Jaiho said. "It pushes us to do better." The tour continued through the city. Everything was designed for safety and comfort. There were no stairs, only gentle ramps. No sharp edges anywhere. Even the food was soft and bland. At the end of the day, the three humans met in their guest quarters. "Did you notice how everything is so safe?" Tai asked. "No wonder they think we're strange." Min nodded. "Their evolution must have been very different from ours. They avoid all risk and all challenge," Jaiho added. "I didn't see anyone exercising or playing sports." That night, as the humans slept, the alien leadership held an emergency meeting. "They are more disturbing than we thought," said Security Director Da. "They laugh about pain. They argue for fun. They expose themselves to harmful radiation willingly. And their physical abilities," added another. "The human called Tai helped move equipment today. He lifted twice what our strongest workers can." Guide Bin spoke up. "But they seem peaceful. They have been polite and friendly." "That's what makes them dangerous," Dai said. "They don't even know they're different. They think their way is normal." On the viewing screen, they watched the sleeping humans, so similar in some ways, yet fundamentally different in how they viewed the world. "We must decide soon," Dai said. "Can we really allow these creatures into our peaceful galaxy? What if they spread their ideas about risk and conflict? What if our young ones start to copy them?" As the aliens debated, the humans slept, unaware that their very nature was causing a crisis. They didn't know that their idea of normal life seemed like a horror story to the rest of the galaxy. Security Director Dai stood before the Galactic Council. Behind him, a large screen showed images of the human visitors. The council chamber was silent as the 12 leaders of the galaxy waited for his report. "Honored leaders," Dai began, "after 1 week of observing the humans up close, I must warn you. These creatures are not like us. They are dangerous in ways we never imagined." He tapped a button, and the screen showed Jiho in the science lab. The human was handling a hot container without protection gloves. "This human picked up an object heated to a temperature that would burn our skin," Dad said. When asked about it, he said he barely felt it. "Their pain tolerance is far beyond ours." Another image appeared. Tai arm wrestling with 3 alien workers at once, and winning. Their physical strength is alarming. But more concerning is their thinking. Dai showed a new video of Min discussing Earth history with alien scholars. In the video, Min said, "Yes, humans have fought many wars, but we learn from them and grow stronger." The alien scholars looked horrified. One asked, "You see war as good?" "Not good," Min explained in the video. "But challenges make us better. Without problems to solve, we get bored." Day stopped the video. "You see, they seek out challenge and conflict. It is part of their nature." The council members whispered among themselves. The head counselor, a wise old alien named Wu, raised his hand for silence. "Director Da, what do you suggest we do?" Wu asked. "We must contain them," Da said firmly. "Keep them in their solar system. Never allow them to spread through the galaxy. They are too unpredictable, too different." At that moment, the chamber doors opened. Ambassador Yun entered, with human diplomat Han at her side. "Forgive the interruption," Yun said, "but Han has something important to say to the council." Han stepped forward. He looked calm, but his eyes showed he understood the seriousness of the moment. "Honored council," Han said, "I know you find humans strange and frightening, but please remember that we came in peace. We only want to learn and share knowledge." Day pointed at Han. "You say peace, but your entire history is filled with conflict. You call dangerous activities fun. You laugh at threats. How can we trust creatures so different from us? Han thought for a moment. It's true, we are different. Humans evolved on a world full of dangers. We had to become tough to survive. But that same toughness lets us face problems instead of running from them. The council members looked doubtful. Han tried a different approach. Has your civilization never faced great threats? He asked. Times when survival seemed impossible. The council members looked at each other. They all knew their history: the Great Plague, the meteor crisis, the energy collapse. Times when their civilization almost ended. In such times, Han continued, wouldn't it help to have allies who don't fear the impossible, who see danger as a challenge to overcome? Wu, the head counselor, leaned forward. You make an interesting point, human. But how do we know you won't bring more problems than solutions? You don't, Han said honestly. Trust must be earned. Let us start small. Continue the exchange program. Learn more about each other. The council chamber grew quiet as everyone considered Han's words. Finally, Wu spoke. We will consider your request. For now, the exchange program may continue. But he looked directly at Han. We will be watching closely. As Han and Yun left the chamber, Dad followed them with his eyes. He still didn't trust these strange creatures who seemed to welcome danger. But for the first time, he wondered if that strange quality might someday prove useful. Outside the chamber, Yun turned to Han. That was close, she said. They were ready to isolate Earth forever. Han nodded. We have a chance now. But we need to show them that being different doesn't mean being dangerous. Can you do that? Yun asked. I don't know, Han admitted. But we have to try. The cultural exchange event on Galactic Station 5 was going well. Humans and aliens mixed in the large hall, sharing stories and learning about each other. Jiho demonstrated Earth cooking, while Min showed alien children how to play simple games. Tai was explaining Earth technology to a group of interested alien engineers. Ambassador Yun watched with satisfaction. After the tense council meeting 2 days ago, this event was helping to build trust. Then everything went wrong. A loud cracking sound came from the station's outer wall. The room shook. Warning lights flashed red. Hull breach in Section 7. A voice announced over the speakers. Emergency. All beings move to safe areas. The aliens froze in panic. Some fell to the ground, covering their heads. Others stood still, eyes wide with fear. But the humans moved instantly. Han ran to the station's control panel. Jiho began directing aliens toward the emergency exits. Tae rushed toward the sound of the breach. What is Section 7? Ta asked a trembling alien worker. Main power control, the worker said. If it's damaged, the whole station could lose air and heat. Without hesitation, Tai ran down the hallway toward danger. Min followed him, grabbing emergency repair kits from wall containers as they went. They reached Section 7 and found a nightmare. A small meteor had hit the station, punching a hole in the wall. Air was rushing out into space. 3 alien workers lay injured on the floor. The room's temperature was dropping fast, and radiation warnings flashed on all screens. Get the injured out, Ta shouted to Min. Then he grabbed repair materials and moved toward the breach. The hole was small but dangerous. Through it, Ta could see the blackness of space. The edges of the hole were sharp and hot from the impact. Any alien touching them would be badly burned. Ta didn't hesitate. He grabbed the metal patch and pressed it against the hole with his bare hands. The hot metal burned his skin, but he held it in place. Bring me the sealing torch, he called to Min, who had returned after moving the injured aliens. As Min worked the torch around the edges of the patch, Ta held it firmly in place. The pain was intense, but he smiled grimly. Just a scratch, he said when Min looked concerned. Meanwhile, in the main hall, Jiho and Han had organized an emergency response. Jiho carried injured aliens to safety, moving much faster than their own medical teams. Han worked with station leadership to keep everyone calm. When station security arrived at Section 7, they found the breach sealed. Tai sat on the floor, his hands burned but a smile on his face. Min was treating the injured aliens with simple but effective first aid. "How did you know what to do?" the head of security asked. "We have emergency drills on Earth," Min explained. "Everyone learns basic crisis response." News of the humans' actions spread quickly through the station. Security cameras had recorded everything. Tai sealing the breach with his bare hands, Jai-Ho carrying 3 injured aliens at once, Min staying calm while treating the wounded, Han organizing the evacuation. In the council chambers on Centuria, the leaders watched these videos in stunned silence. They ran toward the danger, one council member said in disbelief. The one called Tai was smiling while being injured, another noted. Head Counselor Wu stroked his chin thoughtfully. They saved the station. Without their quick action, many would have died. Security Director Day nodded reluctantly. Yes, but doesn't their behavior disturb you? No normal species reacts this way to danger. Perhaps, Wu said quietly. That is exactly why we need them. 2 days after the station incident, Senior Researcher Sun stood before a special meeting of the Galactic Council. The room was packed. News of the humans' actions during the emergency had spread throughout the galaxy. Honored leaders, Sun began. I have studied humans for many months now. After what happened on Station 5, I believe I understand what makes them truly different from us. Sun activated a large screen showing Earth. Humans evolved on what we would call a death world, he said. Their planet has deadly weather, dangerous animals, poisonous plants, and extreme temperatures. From birth, they face conditions that would kill most galactic species. Images appeared on the screen. Hurricanes, volcanoes, lions, poisonous snakes. To survive such a world, Sun continued, humans developed in ways we never needed to. Their bodies can withstand incredible damage and still function. Their minds stay clear during emergencies instead of shutting down in fear. The council members watched in silence. Sun showed new images, humans climbing mountains without oxygen, diving into deep oceans, running through burning buildings to save others. But the most important thing is this, Sun said. Humans think all of this is normal. They believe every intelligent species must be like them. They don't realize they are exceptional. Head Counselor Wu leaned forward. Are you saying humans are superior to us? No, Sun replied. Just different. They evolved for a harsh world. We evolved for cooperation and careful progress. Both paths have value. In the back of the room, Ambassador Yun listened with interest. Beside her sat the 3 humans, Jai-Ho, Tai, and Min, still recovering from the station incident. Tai's hands were bandaged, but he seemed unconcerned about his injuries. The incident on Station 5 proves my point. Sun continued. When the crisis began, our people followed their natural instincts. They froze or sought safety. This is logical behavior for species from stable, cooperative worlds. He showed footage of the humans during the emergency. But look at the humans. Their natural instinct was to move toward danger, to protect others at risk to themselves. This behavior would be insane on our worlds, but on Earth, it's considered heroic and normal. Min leaned over to Yun. Is he saying we're crazy? She whispered. No, Yun whispered back. He's saying you're scary. Min looked surprised. She had never thought of herself as frightening. Sun was finishing his presentation. In summary, humans don't realize they're apex predators of the galaxy. Not because of technology or aggression, but because their normal is our nightmare. What they consider an average day would traumatize most of us. The council chamber erupted in discussion. Some members argued for limiting contact with humans. Others saw potential benefits. Security Director Day spoke up. These creatures could bring chaos to our peaceful galaxy. They take risks without proper consideration. But they also save many lives, another council member pointed out. When we were paralyzed by fear, they acted. As the debate continued, Tai turned to Jio. Do you understand what they're so worried about? We just did what anyone would do. Jio nodded slowly. That's the point, I think. What's anyone to us is no one to them. They wouldn't run toward a hull breach or pick up something burning hot. That's silly, Ta said, looking at his bandaged hands. How else would you save people? Min smiled as she finally understood. That's exactly what scares them. We think facing danger to help others is the most normal thing in the world. They think it's terrifying. The three humans looked around the room at the aliens still debating their nature. For the first time, they began to see themselves through alien eyes. And what the aliens saw was both wonderful and frightening. Creatures who called the impossible Tuesday and didn't even know it was special. Fear spread through the galactic community in the days after Senior Researcher Sun's presentation. News feeds across 1,000 worlds showed images of humans doing normal things, climbing mountains without safety equipment, eating spicy foods that would poison other species, laughing while watching scary stories. On many worlds, people began to demand protection from these strange beings. Groups formed calling for Earth to be isolated forever, or worse. The movement to quarantine Earth is growing stronger, Ambassador Eon told Han as they walked through the gardens of the council building. Many are afraid that human behavior will spread to their young ones. Han looked troubled. We would never force our ways on others. We just want to be friends and trading partners. I know, Eon said, but fear is not logical. Inside the council chamber, the debate had grown heated. Security Director Dai had gathered supporters. We must take action now, Dai insisted. These humans cannot be allowed to spread through our peaceful galaxy. Their very nature is to take risks, to push boundaries. What will happen to our stable society when they start encouraging others to be like them? Many council members nodded in agreement. The vote was moving toward isolation of Earth. Then, to everyone's surprise, Elder Wu stood up. As the oldest member of the council, Wu rarely spoke at meetings anymore. The room fell silent. Friends, Wu said in his soft voice, I have lived long and seen much. I remember when our people first went to the stars. I remember our first contacts with other species. Always, we feared what was different. He walked slowly to the center of the room. But today I want to tell you about something few remember. 300 years ago, our scientists detected something coming from the dark space beyond our galaxy. Something that gave off no light but absorbed all energy it touched. We called it the Void Cloud. The older council members shifted uncomfortably. This was an old story rarely told. Our best scientists said the Void Cloud would reach our galaxy in 500 years. Wu continued. They said when it did, it would absorb all energy, from our suns, our planets, our bodies. Everything would die. He looked around the silent room. We stopped talking about the Void Cloud because we found no solution. We decided to live in peace for the time we had left. But the cloud is still coming. In 200 years, it will reach our outer worlds. The council chamber erupted in whispers. Many younger members had never heard of this threat. Now I ask you, Wu said, raising his voice slightly, what kind of allies would we want when facing such a threat? Those who run from danger, or those who run toward it? All eyes turned to the humans who sat quietly at the back of the room. These humans are strange to us, Wu acknowledged. Their comfort with danger, their strength, their odd reactions to fear, all these things make us uneasy. But perhaps the galaxy needs such creatures. Perhaps we need allies who look at the impossible and smile. Security Director Day stood. Elder Wu, with respect, these are just stories from long ago. We face real problems now with these unpredictable humans. Are they really problems? A new voice asked. It was Ambassador Yun, entering with Han. Or are they opportunities? Ilan walked to the center of the room. I propose we form a coalition, a group of our people working with selected humans. Let us see what we can learn from each other before making final decisions. Elder Wu nodded in approval. A wise suggestion. We can start small, with specific projects. If it fails, we can always return to isolation plans. The council debated for hours, but in the end, Wu's influence won out. The Coalition for Galactic Cooperation would be formed, with both humans and aliens working together. As the meeting ended, Han found Yun. "Thank you," he said. "You've given us a chance." Yun nodded. "Elder Wu gave us all a chance. The question is, what will we do with it?" 1 year after the station incident, the first joint human galactic exploration ship prepared to leave orbit. The Starbridge was the largest vessel ever built, designed for deep space exploration. Its mission: to search for solutions to the approaching void cloud. Ambassador Yun stood at the viewing window of Centuria Station, watching the final preparations. The past year had been challenging but rewarding. The coalition had grown from a small test group to a major force in galactic politics. "Quite a sight, isn't it?" a voice said beside her. Yun turned to see Han. The human diplomat had become a friend over the months of working together. "Yes," she agreed. "A year ago, this would have seemed impossible." Below them, human and alien workers moved around the massive ship. The differences between them were still clear. The aliens moved carefully, following safety protocols. The humans climbed and jumped and occasionally took shortcuts that made the aliens nervous. But they were working together. "How are our coalition members adapting?" Han asked. "Better than expected," Yun said. "The aliens still find humans alarming, but they're learning to appreciate your unique qualities." Han laughed. "And our people are learning patience. Do you know Jiho spent 3 hours yesterday explaining to alien engineers why humans enjoy roller coasters?" Inside the ship, Captain Tai was reviewing final systems with his alien first officer, Jai. After his actions during the station emergency, Tai had been chosen to lead this mission. His hand still showed scars from the burns he received. "All systems check out," Jay reported. "We can launch on schedule." Ta nodded. "Good. Is the science team ready?" "Yes." Min has organized them into research groups. Min had become the head of the joint science team. Her ability to explain human concepts to aliens had proven valuable. She had helped many aliens understand that humans weren't crazy, just different. In the ship's main hall, Elder Wu was addressing the crew. Despite his age, he had insisted on joining this mission. "Today we begin a new chapter in our history," Wu said. "For too long, our civilization avoided challenges. We chose safety over growth, but now we face a threat that cannot be avoided." He gestured to the humans in the room. "Our new friends have shown us another way. They have taught us that facing danger can make us stronger, that the unknown need not be feared, but explored." The crew, both human and alien, listened with respect. Many aliens still found humans strange, but they had seen the benefits of their different approach. Later, in the command center, Jay found Ta looking at star charts of the unexplored regions. "May I ask you something personal?" Jay said. "Of course. Aren't you afraid? We're going into uncharted space, possibly toward the greatest danger our galaxy has ever known." Ta thought for a moment. "Yes, I'm afraid. Fear is normal." "Then why do it?" "Because it's worth doing," Ta said simply. "The things that matter most often involve risk." Jay considered this idea. It was still strange to him, but less frightening than before. On the observation deck, Han and Yun watched the stars. The ship would launch in 1 hour. "I've been meaning to ask you something," Yun said. "That day on Station 5, when the breach happened, why did you run toward it? You must have known it was dangerous." Han shrugged. "Someone needed help. What else would anyone do?" Yun smiled. After a year of working with humans, she was beginning to understand. What made humans special wasn't that they were fearless. They felt fear just like anyone else. The difference was that they didn't let fear stop them. As the _Starbridge_ prepared to depart, beings across the galaxy watched. Many still worried about these strange humans with their unusual ideas, but others had begun to see things differently. Perhaps the scary humans had something to teach them after all. Perhaps there was value in facing the unknown rather than hiding from it. Perhaps this was the beginning of a new normal for the entire galaxy.